19 years. I started on these products when I was a fundraiser, and my mother said, why don't you just try the Relive? I was very stressed out and getting a lot of upper respiratory infections, had a lot of trouble with my legs. I had a car accident when I was a teenager and crushed my legs. Long story short, I got on these products, and little did I know that they would take away the bad arthritis that I had in my legs, the pain that I had in my legs from the arthritis. And they also actually got rid of the upper respiratory infections I used to get like clockwork every spring and every fall. Actually, the worst I had was double pneumonia, and that was pretty bad. That laid me up for about 3 weeks. But since I've been taking these products religiously, I really haven't had one in over, 12 years. I started to get one a few years back, and I just doubled up my product, and it went away in a couple days. So that to me was phenomenal. And I went on to see lots of other results with mood swings, a slight seasonal depression that I get when I take more of the product. I actually take the 24K for that, and that really helps a lot. Other things that have happened for me, one of the best things for me was it also helped my mother, who introduced me to these products, beat stage 3 colon cancer at the age of 79. She loaded up on the products, and she breezed right through that surgery and the follow-up treatment, and that was just phenomenal. Because of that, and because of the uncertainty of the fundraising arena and any kind of job like that, I thought, well, you know what? I've been taking these products for 19 years. If I've been taking them for 19 years, there's obviously a very good business opportunity here. So I jumped on board, and in the last several months, I actually was able to just recently win one of the bonuses that Tom alluded to through a very dear old friend of mine who has actually been able to get off of her meds on these products. And I'm just so excited about all the things that are happening. I can't wait to be one of those people that's getting one of those checks that Tom just talked about. And I'm going to keep working this so that I'm going on that next trip with everybody that they're going on in April. So thanks so much for letting me share. I appreciate it.
Oh, Colleen, thank you so much. And you keep doing what you're doing. Gosh, folks, you hear that? 19 years. You love the products, and then finally, at last.
Yes, at last. That's right.
Oh, Colleen, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My next guest is he's from California. He's a presidential silver ambassador. Nick Priest, thank you for taking time to share with us tonight.
Hey, my pleasure, Tom. My pleasure. You know, Tom, it was 19 years ago when I joined Relive, and I have to tell you, my story goes back a little bit further than that. I retired in 1993, and by 1997, I was broke. I was running out of money fast. In fact, to the point where I had to sell my car and frankly, almost lost my home. It was a very difficult, stressful period. I got involved with Relive, not because I saw this as a business opportunity, to be quite candid. I was attracted to the products. I needed good health from the standpoint of just well-being. I was going through a lot of stress. And I played with this business for a while, but I had a great sponsor, a great mentor who really helped me getting started. And almost immediately, I began to build a small income, a couple $1,000s a month, which really helped me make a house payment to save my home, frankly, from foreclosure. But I played with this business for 4 years until I finally woke up. I woke up to the point that I was getting older. I was still broke. I was working 2 different part-time jobs and Relive, and that's when I became a much better student. I just reached up to my mentor and I said, teach me, train me, I got to get this thing going. And within 8 months, I took my business from that $2,000 a month on part-time to $6,000 a month, became an ambassador, and within 2 years following that, I became a presidential silver ambassador. I'm 78 years old. And my future today is much stronger today than what it's ever been. I'm really excited about it.
Well, Nick, you're an inspiration to all of us. And hey, Nick, I know that you just had a big event out there in Northern California with Dr. Carl. Tell me a little bit about that. We all got events coming up. We've got master affiliate training schools coming up and things like that. You had a big event. What was that like?
I got to tell you, I could sum that up in this fashion. It was wow, wow, wow. It really was. You know, in 19 years, I've attended a lot of events, but this was truly a highlight. Of course, Dr. Carl was here, and he brought a lot to the party, no question. but because of his presence, I got to tell you, everyone was really elevated. It was really impressive. Barb Brovanich, the ambassador, organized this event, and she did an excellent job. We had presenters like Hubert and Robin Washington, also ambassadors, who made a presentation, the business and the products. I got to tell you, everybody was just, it was 4-star all the way down. We had a loaded room. Our room held 100, approximately a little bit over 100. We had that plus in that room. We sponsored. Well, I don't know exactly how many people came into the business from this event, but I could tell you we had at least 3 or 4 that I'm aware of. We had about close to, if not a little bit better than 30 non-distributors in that room. It was exciting all the way through, Tom. I got to tell you, it was great. And, of course, Dr. Hastings brought so much to the party, no question about it. But because of that support from corporate, because of Dr. Carl being there, it just lifted everyone. And it truly was. If it wasn't the best, it was close to. In fact, it was the best event I've ever attended like this in our area. It was just great.
Oh, Nick, that's fantastic. Dr. Carl Hastings is, he's the number 1 food scientist in the world, folks, and he is our scientist who oversees our factory and in our product line. And, most of our products are patented. A lot of them go through clinical studies. There's just nothing more important than your health, and Dr. Carl knows all about food. And we are what we eat, and in Reliv, we eat the best food in the world. My next guest is, she's just one of the top distributors in the whole world for Reliv, and she's just a great friend, and she's Presidential Gold Ambassador, and she's from Colorado. And Trish Fisher, welcome to the Reliv call, and thank you so much for being on it.
Well, I'm happy to be on. I think it's kind of interesting because I think 19 is the number. Colleen talked about being on the products for 19 years. Nick talked about 19 years, and I've been in this business and on these products for 19 years. So, I guess that means we really do have a great product and a great business opportunity because people hang around. That's kind of really a loud statement to me. But, we got involved 19 years ago. My husband and I were living in Nebraska at the time. We had moved so many different states in our marriage, and we just decided, we needed to have a house the kids grew up in. And we were in Omaha, and he took a job where he was supposed to travel 1 night a month. It turned into 3 nights and 4 days every single week. He was gone 60% of the time. The stress we had was horrendous. We had 7 kids at the time. We've had another since. I felt like a very stressed out single mom, and it was my husband's health that went downhill, and because of that, we looked at Reliv. But my sponsor actually shared the whole picture with us right from the beginning about that there was a business, and the more stories I heard, the more I realized, my goodness, not just my husband, but our whole family's going to be on these products, and I know a lot of people, why not? And so I got involved as a master affiliate right out of the gate. And we've all been on the products now for 19 plus years. And, we have a lot of really neat results with our family. I call them ordinary but great. Just imagine having 8 children and having less than a handful of times that any of those 8 kids had to be on antibiotics in 19 years. I've had tremendous results with weight, with my cravings for chocolate and sweets, with moods and sleep. Also, I had horrible back problems from car accidents. I had 5 significant car accidents, any one of which could have put somebody in a downward spiral. But you know what? I used to go to the chiropractor 3 times every week for over a decade, and it's been over a year. My back has not bothered me. I don't need the chiropractor anymore. I can hike, ski, run. I'm normal weight in my 50s, and that was a big goal of mine. I didn't want to be the frumpy mom that couldn't do anything in my 50s. My kids still want to be active. In Colorado, they want to hike, and we go, they go boarding, I go skiing. We do different things, but I'm able to do things with them, which was very important for me. My last pregnancy was the easiest and best, by far, with none of the pregnancy issues, and I was 41 when I delivered the last one. Menopause, I sailed through that. Still haven't had a hot flash. That's been 6 years. But, Again, allergies, we don't say this cures allergies, but we've got 4 people in our family that basically do not react to pollen, and 3 of us don't react to cats. I mean, at all. That's pretty cool. Just tells us that our immune systems are stronger. But, the business is the biggest part of our story. I don't know if people listening have ever had a spouse that's traveled, but they usually talk to their spouse every night, but not all the kids. Sometimes, occasionally, a kid are there, but my husband didn't talk to all 7 kids when he was traveling, and he just felt like he was losing ground with the kids. And because of this business, and because I would put these kind of calls on speakerphone in the beginning, and he'd hear those stories, he came with me to a conference just 2 months in, and he began to open his mind that maybe Reliv could be a future for us. And I say us loosely. He's the support behind the scenes. I do the business. But in 2 months, we went to that conference, and we sat on the edge of our seats so excited. And it gave him hope that he didn't have to do that job he hated forever. Today I make probably 4 times what he used to make in corporate America, averaging between $18,000 and $20,000 a month, highest month being over $43,000. I emphasize the word month because people don't always hear that. But that's more than I made as a full-time nurse. And, it's given us a husband and a dad that's been home every day. The kids are very close to him. We also had a very cool thing happen in December. We became completely debt-free, paid off our $1 million property in Colorado. We have no wedding debt, no college debt, no mortgage. We are completely debt-free. And it's because of I worked hard in this business, and I continue to do so. So, we are going to go on to the Cancun trip in April, which is next month. And what a problem. I can't actually remember how many of these vacation bonus trips we've been on, but I think this is 18. And the company has sent me around over 80 times to teach and train, and I love that too. I love the culture and the people in Reliv the most, I think. I just really love the people.
Well, I know the people love you, Trish, and everything you do to make this company fantastic. Hey, by the way, you won another Dr. Ted plaque last month. You were number 4 in the nation in your personal group, personal volume. And so to help you on that Cancun trip, the company's going to send you a check for $2,000. What do you think about that?
I'll take it.
How do you do that, Trish? I mean, you win a Cancun trip. You're winning bonuses. You inspire all of us. What do you do that you can tell all of us out here that we need to be doing to be like you?
Well, you know what? In our training, we always tell people that, a new person does the same thing someone does who's been around for 19 years. The only difference is the new person does it with their sponsor to learn. But I do the same things. I continue to add to my list. I continue to talk to new people. I always say I do something 6 days a week. Our family takes Sundays off. But, it's all about the new people, getting them to in front of the stories, in front of the people, letting them see why I love Reliv and what's impressed me through the years. And, we have a lot of hope in our family, and it's just a matter of passing on that torch and letting other people hear it, at least offering it to them. They don't all respond. Not everybody we talk to becomes a customer, a distributor, a master affiliate, presidential director, but some do. And I remember hearing Tom and Val Moody a long time ago. They said they treat everybody like they're going to be a presidential director, and then they teach them all the same. And some get there and some don't. And I kind of adopted that. I treat everybody the same, like they're going to be wildly successful, and by their actions they prove us right or wrong. But it is about the new people. You don't just sit around waiting for the people that you have to go, running through Reliv. You always bring in new people, because sometimes anybody on the phone here tonight could meet someone tomorrow who's going to be their next ambassador. And if you're not talking to new people, you're not going to find that person.
Wise words, Trish. I just want to thank you so much. Congratulations. And folks, Trish did this around 8 kids. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's just so inspiring for all of us. What an amazing ambassador. My last guest for the night, he's from Oregon. He's a Dan. He's a senior director. Chrisman Lewis, let's see, you won a Dr. Ted plaque winner. That's fantastic. That means you did at least 16,000 in volume, and you did more than that. And you are also number 3 in the nation in your personal group, personal volume last month, and you're getting a check for $3,000. So, Chrisman, I want to congratulate
Thank you, Tom.
on that, partner.
Hey, thank you. We're excited. Oh, that's wonderful. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, we are Chrisman and Vivian Lewis, and we're in Oregon, Gresham, Oregon, just outside of Portland. And we heard that number 19. Well, we're 22. Vivian has been taking these products for 22 years. And so to Trish's point, we stick around. When you find Relive, you stay with it. And we have for all these years. It came to us, as I said, 22 years ago. My wife had just given birth to our 9th child. And she came down with very severe pains in her arms and her legs. In fact, they were so severe she was crawling around her home. We had all 9 at home. The oldest was 17. The youngest was an infant, and Mom's crawling. So needless to say, we were a family in trouble. And the doctor told us she was going to a wheelchair, that she had post-polio syndrome, which is a recurrence of the polio she had. When nobody knew that these kids that had polio way back in the 40s and 50s had another disease waiting for them 40 and 50 years later. And it was putting them back into wheelchairs. And it's worse than the polio. Instead of just her right leg being crippled now, it was all her limbs. And we were in a panic. We were trying everything we could get our hands on because there was no medicine. There still is no medicine for people with this. And we could find nothing. And pretty soon someone in our church introduced this to Relive to us. We really were very skeptical at first because we had tried so much. But we were also very desperate, needless to say, with 9 children at home. And we're grateful we did. And so Vivian began to see first little energy in about 3 weeks. Then she noticed her irritable bowel syndrome began to clear up. Then her depression began to lift. In about 2.5 months, she started to come off the bed very slowly. She still had a lot of pain, but at least she was starting to function again, which she couldn't do before. She just kept taking the product over and over and over. Now it's been 22 years. She never went to the wheelchair. It literally gave our 9 children their mother back. We will just be forever indebted to the person that brought us this. I mean, here's a woman who runs with our 23 grandchildren when 22 years ago she couldn't walk down the hall of her home. And so we're very grateful that this came to us. Relive actually rescued us a second time, though, Tom, and that was actually 15 years later after that period. And that's when I got a slap in the face. And what had happened to me, I'd been in industrial marketing for 19 years and thought I had a very secure job. I'd reported to the CEO, and it was a pretty good-sized company, and I just thought I was there for life. But when the downturn started happening in 2008, the new owners of our company laid off the CEO, and that's when I got worried, and I began looking for work, and much to my shock, at age 59, I couldn't even get an interview, let alone a job. And I literally went into a panic because we still had 3 of our 9 children at home, and I just didn't know what I was going to do if I got laid off because I certainly was not finding anything. And it was in my despair that we remembered Relive. And to be honest, I didn't know what a home business could do, and I had my concerns. I couldn't imagine that it could replace a corporate income, but I had no options, and I was very frightened. I have to admit that. And so we came into the business. I knew the products had, customer loyalty. We'd been buying this stuff at that time for 15 years. And I knew the products had patents. I knew people couldn't go around me if I introduced it to them. So I thought, well, maybe this business is different. So we did come into the business in the summer or July of 2008. And our first month we earned about $600, and the next month it doubled, and that was nice. It didn't replace a corporate income, but at least I wasn't losing money, for which I was most grateful. In the 4th month, we moved over $20,000 worth of product. I really found that interesting. I know enough about business that the main cost centers of any traditional business are overhead and employees and even inventory if you've got a product. And I didn't have any of those. I had some inventory, but not a lot. But I didn't have any overhead, no employees, and we were moving this kind of volume through a business out of the home. It really got my attention. But in January of 2009, I got laid off. There were 6 of us in our company. All of us were older. I had just turned 60 years of age. We'd all been there a long time. One guy had been there for over 20 years. I'd been there 19, and we were gone in hours. And I was stunned, and I had nowhere to go. Nobody was hiring in January of 2009. As you may remember, that was the big crash in the economy, and so I just came home. And so Vivian and I have been building this business now out of the home for a little over 7 years, and recently it replaced our corporate income. I'm very grateful for that. And in the meantime, because of this generous compensation plan, we've earned around $120,000 in cash bonuses. That's amazing to me in 7 years that we could do this, but it's there, and it's because the products work so well.
Well, Chris, man, that is I love listening to your story. I can't get over 9 kids, 23 grandkids. I'm jealous, I'll be honest, with all those grandkids, since I just have one right now. But you just want to check for $3,000 for taking number 3 in the country. What kind of advice would you give the rest of us out here on how we can do what you've done?
Thank you. I don't know if I have any secrets, but I love what Trish said about doing this. I will tell you that just loving people, concerned about people, when we care about people, this becomes very natural. This is not put on. You just share from your heart. You're just grateful that someone rescued you, and now we can rescue someone else, either the finances or with their health. It's just remarkable that we have something so effective that we can just tell people about wherever we go. And like Trish, we reserve the 7th day. We don't work that day, but 6 days a week, we just go about our lives. And we just talk to people, and we're constantly finding people who need rescuing. And so we just enjoy doing that. It's a great opportunity.
I hear your heart, Crispin. And folks, I think that gives you a look at the kind of people that are in Relive. The best products in the world, the best opportunity out there. And you know what? The best people. I just love being around them and how they lift us all up. If you're a brand new caller, what you can do is get with the person who got you on this call and get started on the products right away. And like Trish was saying, get everybody in your family on the products. I mean, this is that important. And while you're at it, ask them about this business. This is a fun, simple business that anybody can do. I again